Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Pay attention, son. This is for your own good.
Look at me, I'm a big shot. I have a phone. I don't wake up in a dumpster every morning. I probably have a pocket to keep my phone in, too.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
I love jello pudding pop. My son Theo loves jello pudding pop.
Pleased to present for your consideration.
Well, let's start the insanity.
We back.
We're
Take
back.
two.
We're back again. Can we turn my headphones down? Because that's not too bad now.
Yeah,
the music was
Music's a little loud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was hurdy.
Oh, I saw you with your headphones up like a big old wussy.
Yeah.
Big old baby.
Well, I haven't blown my eardrums out like you have.
It's true. Sounds good to me. I always have the stupid alarm on my phone that's like, you've been listening to music too loud for too long. And I'm like, delete.
Your phone tells you that?
Yeah, my iPhone does. Probably because I have it maxed out all the time. It's always all the way up.
I didn't know that.
Yep. It warns me that
never had
I'm
that
doing
warning.
damage to my ears. And future Josh will pay for that.
Yeah, but now Josh is okay with it. Where is my headphone volume?
Well, we're together, so I
Oh.
can turn the whole thing down.
Well, you put it where you need it
How's that?
because you're hard of hearing.
Does that sound a little better?
Yes.
I can hear fine. Yeah. Yes, we've been gone for a while again.
Yeah,
It's life.
like a month on, month off kind of thing, or a week on, a month off.
I think we're finally probably back to a regular
I think so.
rotation. I think.
Yeah, we got our schedules worked out.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
crazy when the kids get out of school and just I feel like especially for me like life just changes and then it's hard to find a time.
Well, you got a lot of people to coordinate.
Yeah. So,
And if there's not 6 or 7 hours of school day to let you catch your breath,
yeah.
then it's crazy.
We just had a wonderful experience at a brand new.
Oh,
I think
man.
it's a independent restaurant, not a chain. It's just a hole in the wall place, little
Yeah.
place we like to call IHOP.
The International House of Pancakes.
We just got our first one here in Grand Island.
Oh, man. I love the IHOP. I like getting breakfast any time of day.
Yeah,
I like that it's good. It's consistent.
it's not as cheap as I thought it would be. I've always heard it was. I'm used to Denny's growing up. That's where we would go.
I think it could be cheap.
Well, the 222 sounds like it used to be $6.
Yeah.
It ain't $6 anymore.
Now it's $222, $12.
Yeah, IHOP was not on my we didn't really go there growing up.
I did.
But,
I
it's
hit
pretty
the
good.
IHOP with my dad.
What about Denny's? Did you go to Denny's at all?
I did some Denny's.
That was my joint right
Yeah,
there.
I was equal opportunity dining.
I was
The
all
double
Denny's.
T. I wasn't a big fan of the double T in
diner.
Maryland.
Oh,
There were a few of those. There's one in Annapolis. There's one in
We'd go to the Severna Park,
Severna Park.
like
yeah.
across from is it Marsh something Mall?
Is it White Marsh?
White Marsh Mall, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one we'd always go to. I felt like it was forever away. Oh, sometimes I get there. Pizza burger. You ever get that?
I don't think I ever had the pizza burger.
It was delicious. You wouldn't think. I don't remember why I would have gotten that. 'Cause
I
that's
love-
not something I would get today. But
I love the double T because it was like 9 pages of menu.
yeah,
Like you could, they had everything.
that's right.
And
Yeah,
I-
it was like a 3-ring binder type situation. It's crazy when they got to break out
Right.
the 3-ring binder for the menu.
I love that place. Ann's Footlongs was right there near the double T in Severna Park too. Did you ever have that?
I don't think I did.
You never had an Ann's Footlong?
No, I don't think so. Is it hot dog?
Deep fried hot dogs.
Food.
Man, these headphones are fired up.
Oh,
That
maybe
is
it's the
loud.
headphones because
I
you're not
think it
used to
is,
using
yeah.
those. Yeah. No, never.
We
went.
did get right into food, didn't we?
We did. Jumped right into it. It was good though. IHOP was better than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
We both got the same thing.
We did.
I think I screwed up the waitress a little because when she walked up, I said, "I'm going to order for him." I don't think she knew how to take it.
What was it called? The breakfast sampler?
Breakfast sampler.
Yeah, it was 3 meats, eggs, and pancakes.
We spent what, I don't know, 10 minutes figuring out what we wanted. In fact, at one point she came, so you guys ready? It's not a big menu.
Yeah.
And we're like,
We're gonna need
Chris,
some
I said,
time.
we're going to need some more time. We both ended up ordering the first thing on the menu. Very first thing.
The very first thing with the biggest picture on the menu.
biggest picture. That's what we got.
We studied the whole menu. We just went with number 1.
It was good, though. It was better than I. It
was delicious.
Better than it needed to be.
But then she tried to jam us on the bill.
So, yeah, we were going to split the bill evenly. Christoph was putting in, it was like, what, $31 or something. Christoph was going to put 20 in, and then he got a coffee too, which I just got water. Yeah. So Christoph's going to put 20 in, and we're going to put the rest on my card, and then I would leave the tip, and that would about even it out.
Yeah.
She comes back. She put it all on my card. Luckily, Christoph caught it because I probably just
she pocketed the 20.
She pocketed that 20. So Christoph.
She was such a good waitress up until that
moment. No, she was. We even commented she's a really good waitress, really pleasant, but she's using.
But then I felt kind of bad because if it was innocent, if she really misunderstood me, she thought she's getting a $20 tip
based on her.
And I did ask for that $20 back.
Oh, you did it. She still got a good tip.
I'm gonna need that back.
She still got a good tip. It wasn't a bad.
Yep. I'm gonna need that 20.
She said, "Oh, I thought you said put it all on the card."
Yeah,
I don't think she thought that. By the way.
I don't know. If she did, she's super disappointed that she didn't get that tip.
Do you mind telling me the story you told me about your situation in New York?
Oh, yeah. I got jammed up in New York, man. We went to this restaurant in Lake Placid, and it was your older sister and her family, me and my family, and your parents, I think. So that's...
older sister doesn't narrow it down.
But they're all older. Your oldest sister. That's true.
I have 3 older sisters.
Your oldest sister, her family, my family, and your parents. So that's like... How many people is that? 11 people. And the bill was it was a nicer restaurant, I think.
Healthy bill.
Yeah. It was like $240 for 11 people to have dinner. So not terrible per person, right? Everybody else paid cash and I paid with my cards. It was like my bill was like $50 or 60, I don't know, something like that. And $60 maybe. So we gave him 180 cash and I gave him my card. I said, put the cash on the bill, put the rest on my card. And I signed for the right amount of money.
Yeah.
But the next day I was checking our account and they charged the full dinner amount.
Dang. And I've heard of restaurants do that sometimes.
To my card.
Yeah, it's a thing.
So that means they billed me the $240 and the guy put $180 in his pocket.
That's crazy. And for a broke dad, that can mess you up for a month.
Yeah. I was saving up for that dinner.
Yeah.
And so I called the restaurant. It was like an hour away from where we were staying. And I told them what happened. They're like, yeah, we don't have a record of that. We don't have a record of the cash. We just have a record of your credit card charges. And I'm like, look, here's the deal.
It always goes one way. It never goes both ways. Oh, look, we gave you too much change. It's always one way.
Yeah. So I just told them, I said, look, you got 24 hours to fix it or I'm coming there tomorrow and I will make a scene.
And you said it was like an hour away, right?
Yeah. And they were like, you're going to do what? And I'm like, if you don't figure this out and get the money back in my account, I will come during your dinner rush and I will make a scene. So you decide what you want. So they called me the next day. They said they figured it out, but it still took like 4 weeks for the money to get back in my account. It's because it was a debit card. I think if it's a credit card, it can go right back. If it's a debit card, they gotta.
Sounds fishy to me.
They got to get authorized by the president or Commerce Department, or I'm not sure what happens, but yeah. So that happened.
I will come to your house. I will come to your doorstep.
That happened. I think I told the story when we were in New York City in Chinatown.
Oh, yeah,
right?
you did. Yep.
I paid cash the whole trip except for one dinner in Chinatown, and I had to get rid of that debit card because they cleared my account.
Wow. That's crazy. I have had it, interestingly enough, I've had that one time, at least one time, but one I can remember where the tip, like I'll leave a tip on the table and I'll leave the tip blank.
Yeah.
And they fill it in later.
Oh.
I've had that happen actually at there was a Chinese restaurant, oddly enough, next to a veterinarian place on Kent Island, the Kent Island, Maryland Kmart. There was a vet place. There was a Chinese place, which was delicious.
That's right.
And then there was Payless Shoes and Lido Pizza, all in this little strip. And I would frequently go visit my best friend worked there growing up, Andrew. He worked at Payless, and so we would frequently go get there. It was like $5 for a whole big thing of Chinese, and the pork fried rice was so good. But at one time, they screwed me over. They left. There was a big tip they filled in, and I was like, nah.
Well, that was
I didn't leave that.
Yeah, the rest of that story is in Chinatown in New York City. I was unhappy with the service, so I left a smaller tip, and the waitress brought the ticket back to me and said, "No, you have to leave this much." And I'm like, "What? I'm not. What? What are you talking about?" And so I think that's why
I'm King Kong.
And you finish that line later.
Yeah, so it was a good dinner. That might be a new spot for us, I think.
Yeah, good dinner, good service.
Yeah.
Sorry, young waitress lady that you didn't get a fatty tip?
It was rough. It was rough.
She got a legit tip.
Yeah, it was a good tip. We didn't
Not a fat tip.
No, it wasn't a $20 tip for a $30
It's not
meal.
Christmas. Christmas, I'll give you a big tip.
Still, I'm a consistent tipper. I'm a good tipper, but I'm consistent.
Okay, I
I
like
don't
it.
I don't throw down hundreds for a $20. Like, I'm not that guy. Maybe one day I would be. Maybe if I made a little more money, I would be.
Yeah.
But in this stage of life with 800 kids,
I do like, if I get like a Christmas bonus or something, and we happen to be out like right around Christmas Eve or something, we're getting something. I do like to leave because that person's working on that holiday.
every once in a while I'll get someone that if they're busy and like, if it's holiday rush, and they're just going above and beyond, I'll go that extra,
Yeah,
But you gotta do pretty dang good to get. I'm a good tipper, so
Right.
I'm secure in that.
you're standardly good.
I don't leave 15%. I leave more than 15%, even if they're bad. I
Right.
will normally, except for if they're like my situation in Applebee's, which honestly I think looking back I did leave 20% there too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. What's your cheapest story? Do you have a cheap story like where you were extra cheap?
Man, my whole life I'm extra cheap.
Well, this Two Broke Dads.
Yeah.
I had a story. So my friend Andrew, I hope he doesn't mind me telling the story, but he went. How they have the beer flights. You'll go to a restaurant and they'll give you like beer flights.
Oh yeah.
I think there was something where he thought
They're like smaller, but you get
Yeah.
like 6 different
you
flavors.
get to try
or something.
different
Yeah.
flavors,
Yeah.
and he wanted to try a bunch, or he thought he was running out of time, like it was a time limit on. Or something.
Well,
I can't remember
he
the
felt like he
story.
was in a contest.
So, yeah, he did a little too much, and
Too much, too fast.
because he was too cheap. Like, so he went
Oh,
too,
he didn't
he
wanna
went too
waste
fast.
it.
He didn't want to waste
I
it, which is
gotcha.
hilarious. Because it's it's not him. Well, I was telling him there was a time. I don't think I've told this on the podcast, but I'm not a big drinker.
Yeah.
In fact, me and him, you hear party stories. I think we both kept each other out of trouble in high school.
Sure.
But both not really big drinkers.
Yeah.
And but I'll have the occasional brew. And is that okay to say on this podcast?
I think so.
Okay. I mean,
It's not against the
I don't
law.
think it's not against the law. I just, work at church. But hey,
Well, is there a clause in your job description?
no clause
Then I think
that
we're
I'm
good.
aware of.
Yeah.
I don't read things though.
They can't add it now.
They can't add it now. Suckers! Yeah, so if you're a weird spot, it means I asked my dad, and he's the pastor, and he said, Ixnay on the ear bay. Anyway, so I was working at this marketing company in Kansas City, and we rented out a whole section of where the Royals play. So we go, and it's the whole company.
Right?
I think it's like 300 people. So
Yeah.
it's a good. And this older guy that I worked with, he's like, there's a beer stand in there that we're going to hit, and it has the best. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Guinness or something like that, but it was
Yeah.
like imported from Ireland, and it was so good. And, and it's like, save up because I think it was like $20 or something for a pint,
Right.
So, and I would never spend that much, but it's a special
Sure.
occasion, free ticket to a game. So me and him were going to go, and we were going to get this pint, and we were going to go watch the ball game, and we're going to.
Yeah.
So we actually got front row seats in front of the whole company. Whole company's behind us. Game's getting ready to start. We're like, all right, let's go get our pint. Go get our pint, and we walked down in front of the whole company. It was a big pint,
Yeah.
nice cold. We walk down, sit right front, and we walk past the president of the company and everybody in the company. We sit down, we take one sip, and there was a tap on the shoulder of one of our bosses and said, you guys aren't supposed to be drinking.
Wait,
We
a
were like-
baseball game?
It's a company. The company, it was a company thing. But we thought we had been told by our boss that you can drink as long as you're in the stadium.
Right.
So that's what we weren't trying to break the rules. We
Yeah.
thought we had heard. We thought we knew that, or someone had told us that. So anyway, but we're like in front of the whole company, most people probably thought we were bragging, like it was so stupid. But I was so cheap. They said, "All right, you got to go toss it." So I'm like, "Okay." So I go back to the stadium, to the back upper level where give a look left, give a look right. Nobody from my company. I downed that thing, which I'm not a big drinker,
Right.
and I just downed the thing because I'm like, I'm not spending $20 for a beer and not drinking it. I just can't do it. The cheapness in me.
You feel sick?
No, it didn't really do anything. But
Right.
The cheapness in me
You
would
couldn't throw it
not
out.
let
You
me.
can't
I couldn't
waste
throw
it.
it out. Just
Right.
couldn't.
Yeah. And it's not like you enjoyed it because you just
Didn't enjoy it at all.
guzzled it. But
Didn't enjoy it. Didn't satisfy me. I mean, it was okay.
but you would have felt worse throwing it out.
I couldn't do it.
Right.
Physically, couldn't do it. Too
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah, I think I do that with a lot of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
got to finish it. I paid this money for it.
Physically
At some point that changed because I would like not feel good. Like I order a big meal
Yeah.
or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I got to finish it. Right? It was this much money, and then I made a decision. This was a life-changing decision for me. I decided that I was willing to pay that much money for whatever it was to be satisfied,
Yeah.
not to feel sick at the end of the meal. And so whatever it was, when I hit satisfaction, I was good with however the rest of the food
Yeah.
went.
That's a good life lesson.
Yeah.
We're all about bringing good life lessons here on the podcast.
And that's why I eat at the dollar store.
I do a thing where if we get pizza from a good place and like I see it's in there like 2 or 3 days, because I won't eat it at past 3 days. It starts getting a little too crunchy.
I do
in the
feel
crust.
bad about.
I will eat it that night before that third day, even if I'm not hungry, because I have to finish that good pizza from that
Right.
good place. Got to.
But you're
Can't
not
go to waste.
enjoying it.
Not enjoying it. I'm not hungry. I shouldn't eat it, but I have to. 'cause
You need
I
a
can't
dog.
Just go. Yeah,
That's what
I
you
do.
need a dog because
Yeah.
you'd be like, oh, this pizza's going to be bad tomorrow. We can.
He's gonna love it. Yeah.
We'll feed it to Rufus.
Yeah, maybe I do.
That's what you need. You need a dog.
My phone went to sleep with all my topics. Why don't we go over some topics that you thought of?
I told you I had no
You
topics.
got nothing. That's all good. I got some things that
It's
I wrote
hot.
down today.
It's real hot. I got that topic. It's going to be 105
Oh
degrees
my
this weekend.
gosh, it was 106 on Monday.
What's going on?
Which I had a thing where me and Susan went to Perkins for lunch because your wife had actually nicely taken our kids for the day to the pool.
Yeah.
Because we had a meeting, and so we go to Perkins, we get some lunch, and we're getting ready to head out, and Susan's like, "Oh, I gotta go change the baby before we go." I was like, "All right, well, I'll just go. I'll get the car cooled down."
Yeah.
Walk out into the sauna. She has my keys. So I was like, "Oh, do I do the walk of shame back and sit back in the booth if they're already cleaning up?"
I would.
didn't. I didn't. I sat out in the sauna heat. I mean, 106. It was like,
Not this cat. I'd walk right back in that
should
restaurant.
have, but I didn't. And
hate
so
it.
sat out there for
It
15
was
minutes
so-
or whatever it was.
It was so hot one day this week that the next day, like the weather app said, it's going to be much cooler today. And
right.
much cooler was like 92 degrees.
I
I'm
know.
like, that's how hot it was yesterday, that 92 is much cooler.
It's
not-
too early to be this hot.
I hate the heat. I'm already ready for the fall, man.
Dude, I'm so
You
ready
gave me
for the
3
fall.
days of 100 degrees. I'm over it.
I'm so ready for the fall. In fact, it's going to be 100. It's going to be 100 plus all weekend too here in
3 days.
Glendale, Nebraska.
Over 100 degrees.
And it's June, and I'm starting to think because we're going on vacation here in a few weeks. I'm like, if it's going to be that hot, and we're in our camper, it's a pop up camper. It does have AC, but like,
Can it keep up?
oh, I don't know. I don't know if I want to. I don't know.
Well, was it McCook, which is like 2 hours west of here?
That is the worst town in the country.
Is it?
I spent a night in McCook one
I don't
time,
think
and
I've
it
ever
was
been.
it was a depressing town.
It's 109 degrees.
Holy crap!
The
Well,
other
it's like
day.
it feels like a desert when you're there.
109.
Yikes!
Why?
Yeah, that's
That's
stupid.
no good.
Well, you heard about all the cattle that died. Did you hear about that in
No.
Kansas?
No.
It's like 10,000. There's crazy video. of it.
10,000 cows?
Like 10,000 cows in Kansas in one state died, and so the government and news sources are all putting out that it's because of the heat and humidity. But it was hotter here, so I don't.
And
that
we have
doesn't
more
make
cows.
sense to me.
We got more cows than people. In
Oh, for
Nebraska.
sure. Yeah, we got more cows in Nebraska.
Yeah.
So why didn't it happen here? I don't know, but that's what they're saying is 10,000 cows die because of heat and humidity.
Does
But-
that mean the price of beef's going up?
well, it's just weird. I mean,
If it affects hamburger, I'm going to be upset. Hamburger and steak go up even more.
when 10,000 die like that, I don't know. Do you cut them up real quick?
Have you seen the conspiracy theories about all the food
Oh, yeah.
places catching on fire and stuff?
Yeah,
Have you read that?
I did.
Maybe the
We talked
10,000
about it at
cows
the
is
QAnon
another
meeting.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that and Bill Gates buying up all the land.
Right.
There's all these conspiracies.
It's crazy. But yeah, there's like 30 food production facilities that
Yeah.
have gone up in flames in the last year.
And the same with with the baby formula? Was that a fire too? Wasn't that
No.
caused by something?
No, there was a recall, or they shut down production because a couple
Oh.
babies got sick or something. Yeah. I don't know enough to be convinced that it's a conspiracy. So I can't say that it was a conspiracy.
Something is
But
afoot.
yes.
And I'm abreast of the situation.
It's your anatomy lesson, too. So I don't know what's going on.
I
I
don't
just
know
know it's
either.
hot. It is freaking hot, and everything's stupid expensive. It costs $107 to put gas in my truck.
Oh, it's so crazy.
Yesterday.
It's just-
$107 for 23 gallons of gas.
It hurts, man. It hurts so
crazy.
bad. I'm not even filling, like my truck, I'm not filling up. I'm putting $30 in at a time.
There's got to be people that can't afford to go to work.
Oh, 100%.
Like in Maryland, I would commute 70 miles one way to the
Yeah.
office. Right? There's got to be people that are like, I can't afford to go to my job anymore.
And is that a
How do you do that?
Is that a master plan?
For what? To what end, though? I don't understand. Like, what do you accomplish if people can't go to work?
Dependent on the government.
Oh, so we're going to be socialist.
We're gonna be. That is some of the talk out there. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not saying I don't agree with it. I'm just saying when I hear some of those conspiracies, I'm like, nah, that's far fetched. And then I look it up. I'm like, oh, so Bill Gates is buying up a bunch of land. Like, okay, that sounded too far fetched, but I guess it's happening. Like
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's like I don't know what to believe anymore.
I am not informed well enough to be on board with the conspiracy or to say that they're wrong. I just don't know.
After the past 2 years, where a lot of the conspiracies have turned out to be right 6 months later, it's just hard to say anymore. Like, you don't want to be an idiot and be like, oh yeah, I'm not going to go along those lines. But then you also don't want to be an idiot and just shut them down and say, oh, you're stupid. That doesn't make it. Because a lot of them start, I don't know.
Do you know
Some
what
of them don't, but.
I read yesterday?
Oh, boy.
Because you were talking about last 2 years and conspiracy. Fauci got COVID.
He got COVID. I read that too. Yeah. Well,
double vaxxed and double masked.
Which I know everyone says, well, it doesn't prevent it. It just, when you get it, you have it less. The problem is there's these news clips of him saying, if you're vaxxed, then you're not going to get it.
Right.
You're not going to get this thing. I watched Twitter. I was flipping through either today or last night, and someone had posted a news clip of him saying, you get vaxxed. So, look, yeah, if that's how the vax works, that you get it less severely, that's fine. Then start with that narrative.
But they didn't
don't
start with
change
that.
it.
That's the problem. That's why people don't trust you.
That's why people don't trust you.
If you started with, hey, you're still going to get it, but you'll be much better off.
Would have been better for them to not be as, and that's the problem is I feel like government officials,
It's like extreme.
Yeah, they're too like matter of fact, but they're
not
so
willing
little.
they're not willing to say, well, we don't know.
Yeah, they're not, or to say, to not come out with as strong a message. Like it's all or nothing with them.
Yeah.
So you can't just be like, well, let's see how it goes, and we're going to give it a year. We think it's pretty productive. And they never go back on it and admit their mistakes, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
On both sides, honestly. Like
yeah. It's
Republicans do it
definitely
too,
both sides,
and left does it too, and everyone's doing it. Only one we can truly trust is Elon Musk.
What did he say this week?
Oh, I don't know.
If it was something about somebody complaining about not being able to work remote, and he said, well, then you can go pretend to work somewhere else.
Well,
That was his response. You can go pretend to work somewhere else.
I am loving his commentary because he has been saying some funny stuff that he does crack me up, honestly.
Like he's just getting to the point. He
doesn't care anymore.
Right?
He doesn't.
Yep.
He's got enough. And the thing is, like, he was pretty middle of the road, but I think he's got enough crap now from the left, especially, that he's just like, screw it, screw you guys.
Yes,
like I'm taking my ball and going home.
I thought that was hilarious.
That was funny. And then he came out and I think he came out in support. I might be screwing this up. Came out in support of Ron DeSantis.
Oh yeah.
Did you hear what he said?
No.
He said it's always good to get the African American vote.
Ron DeSantis said that.
He said it in a press conference.
He's from South Africa.
I will say this.
Oh God.
You know,
that's a hilarious response.
One thing that Trump did, you got to give him credit for, is he loosened up the right a little bit, where they feel like they can crack jokes now. Where used to be so tight-lipped and like they were the straight-laced, but he did loosen them up. Like there's some wild people in. There's some wild people
Ron
on the right
DeSantis
now.
said it's good to get the African American vote.
Something like that. It's so funny.
Oh gosh.
That did crack me up though. I have a new rule.
A new life rule?
A new life rule.
Really?
For all of us. Everybody listening?
Oh, everybody has to abide?
Focusing right here. Everyone's got to abide. This has got to be a new life rule. It's happened too much and happened to me today, and I thought I'm going to write that down because this is a new rule, all right?
Yeah.
If someone walks in with an armful of stuff, do not ask them a question or stop and talk to them. Every time I'm walking, especially in church or something, or it could be anywhere, I will walk, even at home, I'll walk in with an armful of stuff because I'm always carrying like a guitar and a book bag, and I had something extra today.
Yep.
And I'm barely getting in the door. I'm like, grab the door,
Right.
sneaking in, and every time someone stops to talk to me, and it's like they don't, and I'm sitting there, yeah, and it's like,
You're not really having a conversation.
I'm not having a conversation. I just need to get this stuff down.
The only
There's not
thing
a
you
place-
can say to them is, do you need help with that?
Yeah. You could say, do you need help with that? That's a good,
That's a good life rule.
but that's the new rule. That just, don't ask them a question when they set it down or follow them wherever they're going.
Right.
But don't stop 'em. It happens constantly to me. I don't know why, but I finally was like, I'm documenting this. This is a new rule.
Yeah,
Don't stop someone that has their
I
arms
like
full.
it. Good call.
Yeah. 10,000 cows died. We talked about that. Worst states in the country. I was thinking about that
Worst
today.
states.
Like the worst states or the worst cities. What do you think of the worst in the country?
Chicago sounds bad.
Chicago does sound
Like-
bad. Have you ever been to Chicago?
Just the airport, I think.
Oh, we went there once. We
Driving
went to
through.
Moody Bible Institute when my
Yeah.
dad graduated in the '90s and '96, I think, and it was nice, but well,
People are just getting shot.
it's crazy. When you look at the numbers of
All
how
the
many are
time.
getting shot there, it's nuts. I know people that live there, and I'm like, I don't know that I could live there right now. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
too many people just random.
I mean, Baltimore's not much better, right? I spent a lot of time in Baltimore when growing up, but I think it's worse now.
yeah,
But I guess you get used to it, like living there, like you expect it, or
I don't know.
duck and cover, or whatever it is. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, even like in our little town, there's people getting murdered. It feels like more. There's an uptick in.
I heard St. Louis is pretty bad,
Oh yeah, that's
like
real
super
bad.
violent.
You wouldn't think it,
Yeah,
but I mean, have you ever driven? You've probably driven through there.
yeah.
Seen the
I've
Golden
been in the
Arches?
arch.
Oh, have you really?
Yeah, man.
I want to do that. Is it fun?
Well, it's it's all right. It's what cool once you're up there.
Yeah.
You sit in this weird egg.
We
go
went
to the top.
there, or we drove through it, and we had some time. It was during COVID at one point, but it was closed, so we
Right.
couldn't go up. But
I like that you called it the Golden Arches.
we're staying. Florida used to be on my list, but now they seem to be getting a little better.
Michael Scott said it best.
What did he say?
It's a wonderful, lawless swamp.
It really is a swamp.
I mean, I was in Jacksonville. It was all right. I just
Oh,
don't.
yeah.
I don't like heat. Right?
It's a lot of heat, and it's humidity.
Yeah.
Not just. Have you ever been to the desert?
My grandmother lives in the desert.
How was that? Because I really haven't been to the desert.
I mean, just like anybody that lives in the desert, they say it's not too bad because there's
Dry
It's a
heat.
dry heat,
Yeah.
but it's still 120, right? So
Sounds too close to dry heave to me.
you can't go out during the day.
Yeah.
Like people stay inside. You don't go do nothing in the middle of the day. It's too hot, even though it's
People
not humid.
playing golf and stuff out in.
So when I was 16, I went to California for the summer, and part of that time I stayed with my grandparents in the desert, and they lived
What's that noise?
probably me shaking this
Oh.
table. And they lived on a golf course. They moved from Boston to Desert Hot Springs, California. Lived on a golf course. Grandpa had a gas-powered golf cart in the garage, and he said, "Well, you want to go golfing tomorrow?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go golfing tomorrow." He woke me up at 4:30 in the morning.
Oh.
I said, "What are you doing?"
That's how they
he was
do
like,
it.
"Yeah, we got to beat the heat. We got to tee off just as the sun's coming up, and we'll get 9 holes in before it's too hot."
I remember doing that even in Maryland.
Yeah,
We'd go to Blue Heron at 7 in the morning.
yeah, 7 I get,
Yeah, 4:30's
but
insane.
yeah, like we're out, like you're waiting at the tee box until there's enough light to see the fairway
I had a
because it's going to be that hot that day.
job. This is before I came to Grand Island, but I was interviewing at different churches, and one church was going to fly me out, and they were in Phoenix.
Yeah,
And I looked up temperatures year round in Phoenix because I was thinking, I got to keep an open mind. And I saw how hot it was. I just said, don't fly me out there. I'm not coming to Phoenix. I can't do it.
I mean, I would just be looking to go from air conditioned space to air conditioned space all the time,
Oh,
which is kind of how I live my life now.
I bet it's awesome when you're old, though, because old people are always cold, I feel like. You
Yeah.
know? That's why they've moved to Florida.
Well, that's my grandparents moved for the cold, but also because
they're joints, right?
Yeah,
like
so
your
if it's a
joints
real
are-
dry climate, it's easier on your joints.
Yeah, like my father-in-law is getting removed to Florida because it'll help with his joints and all this different
Yeah.
stuff. So it gives you a longer life. I mean, that's what they say. So I'd probably do that.
Is
But
it- you die young in the cold climates?
seems like it's a harsher end of your life for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
It's a lot of
something to
work.
it.
But I don't like the heat. I think I'll keep it cold
Yeah.
till my last day. Like here in Nebraska, it'll only be 105 on Saturday.
It's gonna be.
And you know what I do? I punish myself a little bit because when it's that hot, I look up like where I used to live in New York. Like I wonder what the
Oh,
temperature is
yeah, I
there.
do that.
And it was like 72.
I have that on
It's
my
like-
iPhone app.
It's like 54 at night and,
Yep.
and a high of 72. And I'm like, oh, I just want to be there this week.
I've got like different, every city that like we have family in.
Yeah.
Like we have some family in Virginia, Pennsylvania. I have them saved on my app, my weather app, and I will constantly do. I'll flip through. Oh man, it's 79 degrees in Pennsylvania right now.
Right.
It's
I do wish, like when I was in the Philippines, it was crazy, crazy hot.
Oh my gosh.
But we went to this mountain like city called Baguio. And so it's a crazy drive on a packed bus. There's like chickens on the bus and stuff, and there's no guardrails going up these mountains, and it's a ridiculous drive.
Yeah.
Right. But it was like 109 with like 90% humidity where we were playing basketball.
That's insane.
And then we go up for this half day to spend in Baguio, and you get up to the top of the mountain, and it's like 68 and no humidity.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like, oh, we should just spend the rest of the week here.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. It's like a vacation.
But it was like an hour and a half drive on a bus. But you can't escape the heat here in an hour and a half. Like,
No.
there-
Nowhere you can go. I don't even know. Like Colorado, I'm guessing is cooler.
I mean, the high
mountains,
peaks,
but-
like the 14,000 foot peaks, probably still have snow or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my gosh. I don't. Yeah, it's hard to beat the heat around here. And at least, I mean, it doesn't get as humid as East
It doesn't.
Coast,
Yeah,
but-
it's better, and it's always windy, right? It's not like it's just stale and stagnant,
yeah.
but it's still gross.
So we talk about the weather. We've talked about places.
We're
to
old
eat.
people.
We're old people.
We're old people. And we talked about our health, our joints, eating at IHOP, and the weather.
That's right.
We're officially retired.
What's a place that you want to visit that you've never visited?
Where would I like to go that I haven't been?
I've never been one that wanted to travel the world at all. Like I've always been like, I'm comfortable in the U.S., but I've seen people recently that have gone to like Italy. I'm like, I would like to eat my way through Italy.
Eat my way through Italy.
It looks delicious.
Well, Europe is awesome, right? Because it's just so old.
Have you been over there? You've been to Germany,
Been
right?
to Germany, and we did a little, like we drove to France, and we did a little bit in England. Nothing.
You took the Nazi tour. Like,
Most. Is there one of those?
There's
No.
definitely a museum.
I have pieces of the Berlin Wall.
Do you
stuff like
really?
that. Yeah. We were there. We were there the summer after the Berlin Wall came down, so we like actually chipped pieces of the wall off.
Just
and took
missed
them out.
David Hasselhoff.
Yeah,
Just
we weren't
missed
there
him.
for the Hoff. I've always wanted to go to Alaska.
Oh yeah, I do want to go there too.
I want to do Alaska.
That seems like not a lawless swamp necessarily, but
Yeah.
it seems pretty lawless up there. That's where you go to get
yeah.
away from the law for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like half the size of the continental United
It's
States.
crazy.
It's monstrous.
I
big.
watched that show.
Alone.
No, there's that one,
I
but
was
then
watching
that's
that
a
the
good
other
one. I
day.
do watch
Yeah.
that one. But no, Life Below Zero, I think it's what it's
Oh,
called.
yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen just about every season of that. And
That's crazy.
where they live out
survival,
by
right?
themselves, and it's like they have like 1 year or 1 month a year where it's like decent weather, and then it just gets
Like
cold
where you
again.
can get in and get out, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'd like to do Alaska, and I'd like, not that it's a place, but I'd like to do a cruise.
Hmm.
I've never been on a cruise, but I hear it's all you can eat.
Yeah, I would do a cruise for sure. We should do a cruise.
You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
just a buffet on the water.
Yeah.
There's like comedy clubs on the ship and stuff. It sounds like my kind of deal.
Well, I think entertainers too, like make bank.
Yeah.
If you can get on some cruise liners.
Like you're on the ocean, but you're in a swimming pool,
yeah.
right? That's my deal. I don't want to be with the sharks.
And they have like Disney cruises that have like water slides now and
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. Most people listening have probably been on a cruise. And they're like, yeah, duh, they have
Yeah.
water slides.
Hey, dummy, that's what
Yeah.
they do. Well, we're broke, so we've
We
not
are.
been on a cruise.
Never
Thank
been
you.
on a cruise. trying to think of other places.
I do want to drive on the Autobahn. I've ridden.
Oh.
I've ridden on the Autobahn. I've been a passenger, but I would like to just drive as fast as I
For
want
the
to go.
folks at home that don't know, what is the Autobahn?
It's the highway in Germany that Hitler built.
Oh, I didn't know. I've heard it referenced before, but I didn't.
Yeah, so there is a speed limit on the Autobahn as you're in and out of towns, but there are significant portions of it where there's no speed limit. So the law is you travel in the right lane and you pass in the left lane.
Oh.
So if you're in the left lane, you have to be passing somebody or you get a ticket.
Wow.
But there's no speed limit.
That's crazy.
Go as fast as you
That's
want.
kind of how Mexico was when we went in the 90s. It was like,
Just do what you want.
Yeah, you do what you want. I mean, it was crazy. We were in a big bus, and it was
Yeah.
like traffic jam. It was just
Yeah, that's how the
getting through.
Philippines. Philippines, if you honk twice, that means get out of the way. I'm coming over.
That's crazy.
But that's not Germany, right? There are traffic laws.
Yeah.
The Autobahn police drive Porsches. Right, they're pretty cool. I saw Lamborghinis like fly by us. While we were driving down the road, and sport bikes just opened up 200 miles an hour, just going. So I'd like to drive on the Autobahn.
It's weird to me how when you look at a map, and this is going to surprise nobody, but it always surprises me. Like you look at a map of Europe and China, it's like you can get everywhere. Like it's just us and what. Is it us in South America that aren't connected, or I don't know? I'm showing my ignorance here, but there's us and what's the other continent that you can't get to?
Antarctica.
Antarctica, yeah, but like
you could drive from South America to Canada, right?
yeah,
Right.
But
So
and you
South
could
America,
drive
North
from
America.
Germany to Africa, right? Or is Africa disconnected?
I think
too?
the longest road is like Africa all the way to China is the longest road in the world,
Oh, okay.
or longest route.
But so Africa's connected too. I don't know. It's crazy when you look at a map and you realize you could get everywhere over there. Like
Yeah.
you can get all over.
The Silk Road.
That's nuts.
Right,
The
you
Silk Road.
Yeah, that's history class. That's like how China got connected to the Eastern Europe and stuff.
Oh, it is wild though.
Trade
I mean,
routes.
and Russia and all that's all tied together. I mean, and they're not even. You look at like Afghanistan and all those countries. Not that far from like France or England.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's not far.
Well, yeah. So the countries are a lot. Most of the countries are a lot smaller, right? Like
Yeah.
the European countries are
Yeah.
pretty small comparatively. So yeah, we take that for granted because we're so used to being in kind of a bigger country.
And when you like growing up, I was stupid, so I didn't. I look at a map today, and I'm like learning stuff, and
You're
I'm
like
like
blown away.
They're all together. I thought they were all like
What
in the ocean out by themselves.
What was the concept of a continent to you before recently looking at a map?
I don't know, but it blew my mind.
All those countries are together.
Homegirl said you could see Russia from
Alaska.
They all gave her a hard time, and then I look at a map, I'm like,
You can.
dadgummit, she's right. You could see Russia from Alaska. You got to be able to. It's so
right
close.
there. It's right there. You can.
It's so crazy. They give her such a hard time.
I forget what the smallest the Bering Strait. I don't know if it's like 50 miles or something like that, or 100 miles, but it's pretty close.
I mean, you can see Cuba from Florida, I think, right?
90 miles.
That's crazy.
I work with a guy from Cuba.
Oh, really?
He told me he swam here. I'm like, you didn't swim 90 miles. He's like, people do. I'm like, people don't swim 90 miles. Like
They don't?
They probably start in a raft and they have to swim part of the way. But can you swim 90 miles?
I got 2 words. Elian Gonzalez.
Did he swim?
I don't know, but it sounded good at the time.
Yeah.
No, his mom didn't swim
Okay.
too soon.
Maybe.
It's been Elian Gonzalez was interesting because that you remember that whole
What's he
situation,
doing
right?
today?
Well, he went back to Cuba.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he went back to Cuba. He's he's Cuban.
Well, not all Cubans went back to Cuba.
He did.
You can be Cuban and not live in Cuba anymore.
He did go back. And the interesting thing about him was it was all national news and everything. He was living in Queen Anne's County, which is where I grew up.
Really?
Like when I was in high school.
I didn't know that.
Dude, I knew the people.
I just assumed Miami.
The farm that they had him staying at, I grew up going to this farm. These people in our church own this farm.
What?
And the girl I went to high school with was his personal lifesaver. Not lifesaver. I can't think of the word. Pool.
So, lifeguard.
Lifeguard. I'm drunk off that IHOP syrup.
I was thinking different kind of candies, Lifesavers.
She was his
Skittle.
lifeguard. She would go after school. I went to high school with her. She would go after school, and he would have his swim time, and she would watch him in these people's pool that used to go to our church. That's how crazy. Like, he was right in Queen Anne's County
I
for his
thought
whole
he was
time
in
staying.
Florida
Nope.
when he was here.
They brought him here.
Huh.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to Cuba. I wonder what he's up to now.
Up to nothing good. Well, now he's probably in his, let's see, late 20s, early 30s maybe.
Yeah.
That was a wild story. It's weird when stories like that capture the attention of the nation over
nation.
one person. And it was like 3 months.
What's the national story today? I'm going to tell you. I'm going to just open the news app.
What's the national?
And the national story. First story on the news app for Christoph is day 3 of the January 6 hearings.
Oh, yeah, the hearings. I haven't watched any of that. I don't know.
Gun talk.
A lot of gun talk.
And,
Lot of gun talk.
the potentially illegal fees making your bananas and everything else cost more. So, I don't know. I don't know that any of that has captured the nation.
No, there's not like the one. I mean, we had sadly, the shooting a few weeks ago that did for a whole week. It captured the nation.
Yeah, that stuff's just.
I don't even want to
crazy
talk about
sad.
that
Yeah.
because everything makes me mad about that. Everything makes me
Yeah.
mad about that. Speaking of too soon,
Let's do another too soon.
we kind of went through this, and I'm not going to tell the joke that I told you, but I always make too soon jokes. That's like my go-to.
Your most recent.
I'm not
too
going
soon
to.
joke
I'm not going to say it on the
Yeah.
podcast, but that's where my brain goes.
I think your too soon jokes are funny because you know it's too soon.
Yeah.
But you don't do a public address
No.
of the too soon joke, right?
Although
It's a selective audience.
Although I did tell my mom that too soon joke.
Did she appreciate it?
I don't know.
Probably
It wasn't.
not. I don't
I
think
don't
so.
know.
Yeah.
It wasn't. She's like me. Like, I don't know. Maybe not quite like me, but yeah. That's where my brain goes. Even
Yeah.
if it's like we just heard bad news that was very closely related to us, and that's where my brain goes.
You went to too soon joke.
Yeah, I go to. It's how I cope. I think. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, you do cope with all that stuff with humor,
Oh yeah.
which I think helps other people too, right?
Hopefully.
I think it does, right? It's good to laugh in the midst of.
Sometimes I get too
difficult
silly,
times.
and then I crack a joke, and then later that night I'm like, oh, why did I say that?
Yeah,
Which
but I think
happens
everybody
lots.
gets
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Everyone gets it.
Yeah,
Until they don't.
Sometimes I don't read the room with the too soon joke, right? Or I forget what the audience is.
Yeah.
I can screw that up pretty bad, right? And tell the joke that made you laugh to somebody else, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's never going to make them laugh.
It's
right?
just yeah.
That's
how I cope. I love it, and I love it like when a comedian dies and they all roast them. Those
Yeah.
are the funniest jokes because they're
Right.
the best.
Yeah.
And the person's out there to defend themselves, but they would love it if
Oh sure.
they would love it. Like Gilbert Gottfried when he died, like they were all ripping on him.
You know, it's funny to watch some shows that were made during our lifetime
Yeah.
and realize that those jokes would never make it to air today.
The Office is all
The
that.
Office. I've been watching Seinfeld.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot in Seinfeld
Yeah.
that you can't do anything with that. Like,
I mean the whole Chinese food episode, like
yeah,
couldn't do any of that. You're right.
will it ever come back? Will it ever get back to the point where you can make those jokes again?
Yes.
So it's just a pendulum.
It's a
it swings hard
pendulum,
one
yep.
way and then it'll come back.
I think it will.
Okay.
I think people are already getting fed up and it's already going the other way.
Yeah.
I mean the woke thing is going under.
It's got to be exhausting to be offended by everything.
I think that all the time.
Right.
I have that exact thought all the time. It has to be exhausted because I have people, friends and even family that everything they're always posting about the next,
Right.
woke thing, and it's like it has to be. It does. It has to be an exhausting.
Like your brain's got to be just burned by being offended by every single
And it's
thing.
hypocritical because they'll be offended by this, and then they'll be offended by that, and it's like, well,
You can't be offended by both.
can't be offended by both. Yeah, it happens all the time. And I've been that way too, where there's things that I get worked up, and I'm like, wait a second, this doesn't even affect me. Like, I'm just offended because you're stupid, and you're offended by it.
offended by your
So
stupidity.
I'm offended by your stupidity, pretty much.
Can't say that anymore. You're canceled.
Cancel me.
Stupid's not a choice, Josh. It's a disease.
Yeah. I was gonna go somewhere with that, but Father's Day is coming up.
It is.
By the time you hear this, it might already be Father's Day.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we are two broke fathers.
Two broke dads. Two broke fathers. Do you got any big plans?
So both my kids are doing stuff on their own on Father's Day. So we're celebrating early, I suppose. My son's taking me to see Top Gun tomorrow night. You'll be joining us.
I'll
for
be
that,
joining.
even though you've seen it already.
Loved it. If you haven't seen Top Gun, go see
Coming
it.
in for Maverick for a second.
Oh
viewing.
my gosh, go see it before it gets out of the theater because it is that good.
I'm excited.
It's
about
awesome.
it. Yep.
I love it.
So we're doing that tomorrow night. It's going to be 136 degrees this weekend, so I'm not going to be doing a lot of outside stuff.
We are going to be we are having a family dinner on Saturday.
That dinner better be inside, or you can come see me on my couch because I ain't hanging out outside. I'm not going to be on the back porch when it's 106. There's no two ways about that. I'm not built for that.
Be in the basement.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
Yep. I just told my staycation story to somebody this past week where I had to take time off work because I had so much time, and so I just took a week when we weren't really going anywhere, and I put a kiddie pool in my basement and sat down and played video games in a swimming pool in my basement. That's how much I like outside.
Yeah. That sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it was good.
Although that basement was a little depressing because it did not get a lot of sunlight.
Yeah. Well, like windows were ground level. Right?
Yeah.
It was
it's always so cold, too, down there.
Yeah.
Which was nice, but it was dark.
Tile floor, so it stayed nice and cool.
We had some good times in that basement.
Yeah, man.
Good Super Bowl parties. And actually, that's where we saw the famous Janet Jackson Super Bowl.
Oh, that was the incident.
That was the incident.
Yeah. We're not supposed to talk about that.
Was that 2003?
I don't even know.
I think it was around
That's the year we bought the house, so probably.
Yeah, probably was.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good basement.
Yeah, so basement time in the heat's good for me. Other than that, I don't think we've got anything specific. Although I did have a conversation with my wife. She was like, "What do you want for Father's Day?" I said, "Nothing." She said, "Well, we already have a plan." And I said, "Well, how much does your plan cost?" And she wouldn't tell me. And so I tried to get her to tell me over under.
Yeah.
Over under $30, over under 50, over under 100, and she would not. She did not break at all. So I have no idea what it's going to cost, and hopefully it's cheap. Because I don't want you to spend a lot of money.
I know.
On me.
That just stresses me out more.
Right.
Well, see, I butchered Mother's Day because I thought it was like 2 weeks later, and then I found out like 2 days before, and it was a busy week. I didn't have time to, so I screwed it. I didn't get anything, and I told her, well, I'll make up for it. I still haven't. So I told her, we're even.
Yeah, call it even.
Even Stevens.
So is that what you're doing? Call it even?
I told her, I said, because she's like, I was trying to think of what you might want. I don't want anything. But even if we hadn't, I still don't really want anything.
I'm not really difficult to make happy. Like, if you bought me a steak and a pound of bacon, or one or the other, like, I'm happy.
Food
I remember there
happy.
was I don't know if it was a birthday or Father's Day where Eden made me breakfast in bed. And she was, less than 10 years old.
Yeah.
And so she cooked a pound of bacon. She brought me a pound of bacon on a plate and a coffee. And that might be the best birthday breakfast I ever had. Yep. Pound of bacon and a coffee.
Nice.
I'm easy to please. Doesn't take much.
You ever did bacon in the coffee?
Dip it?
Yeah.
No.
Surprised there's not like a bacon coffee thing out there.
I imagine bacon can't make coffee worse. Bacon makes everything better. So, not bacon flavor, real bacon.
My wheels are turning right now with possibilities.
I've had coffee grounds on a steak. There was a restaurant on the Eastern Shore of Maryland that did a dry rub of coffee grounds on the steak before they cooked it. That was pretty good. So maybe you could cook your bacon in coffee. I don't know. There's something there, and it's probably delicious.
I'm going to find a clip real quick that you'll have to look up at home, but I'm going to play it for Christoph if I can find it here in the next couple seconds.
I'm making a lot of noise with my microphone stand. I apologize.
It's all good. It's all good. So you may have heard, the folks at home, you may have heard of this. Let me find it first before I talk about it. Okay, here it is. You may have heard of this. Look, if you haven't, I want you all to look up Spider-Man Crashes at Disney World. And I'm going to show you.
We lost the audio. Spider-Man Crashes at Disney World.
This episode is crashing and burning right before our eyes. All right, there might be a little pop.
There's going to be a pop here, folks.
Okay, no pop.
Oh. All right, let me see it.
This clip. Let me go full screen here. Let's see if it'll work.
Here goes something.
That is loud. Is he hanging off a crane? Oh, shoot.
The weapon facility is not equipped with airbags.
Okay.
So explain to the people what you just saw. You should pause this and look it
Spider-Man
up.
comes swinging out of the right side of the screen.
Way in the
way
air.
in the air, like he's swinging off a crane, it looks like. Big old flip. Looks like he's supposed to land it or grab onto something, and instead it's full, like, ragdoll into the side of a building or something. That did not look healthy. Did he?
No.
Did he survive it?
Well, the good news is it's a robot. It's animatronic. It's not a real person. But all those people watching this
You
did
wouldn't
not
have
know
survived
that.
that.
No.
Oh, that reminds me of something terrible I saw when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
Went to a monster truck show.
Look it up, people, though. It's awesome.
I went to a monster truck show at the Baltimore Arena with my
Yeah.
dad when I was 10 or 12 or something.
I want to do that with my boys. I've been looking up.
I took Zeke when he was a kid. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it looks pretty fun.
And you want to go to a big, like Baltimore Arena wasn't very big.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a great monster truck show because it's real tight.
Yeah.
But it was still fun.
Yeah.
But they had this one part where there was this truck or something that transformed
Oh, yeah.
into a
I know what you're talking
stand-up
about.
dragon, and it would breathe fire.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to look like the good guys are shooting the bad dragon, and they
He has
had
a
like
name, but I can't remember.
these
what.
explosive devices. Like it looked like he was getting shot. Well, instead of one exploding, it imploded on the guy controlling this thing. And all of a sudden, everything stops, and the ambulance comes in, and they peel this guy out of this robot car thing. But when I got home, found out that the dude died.
No way.
Yep,
You don't watch a dude die.
I watched it. It was crazy.
That is crazy. It always, yeah, I've had a couple.
Because you weren't sure. Like, while it's happening, the ambulance comes out. You're like,
Yeah.
is this part of it? It doesn't seem like it's part of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was nuts.
you always have, like, I've had situations like that too. It's always weird when you find out later, like, oh, I witnessed some. Like, we were at the Annapolis Mall. I may have told the story, but at the Annapolis
Was it a
Mall,
shooting?
Yeah, when I was,
Honey was trying to figure out who saw the shooting at the mall. And it
I
you.
was, I think I was like 8th grade or 9th grade. We were there as it was before Christmas as a youth group trip. We would always go and get gifts for our parents, and we were walking and we heard what sounded like gunshots, and then all of a sudden all the stores started dropping their things. We're in the middle, like we don't know what the heck's going on, and we walked down. If you know the Annapolis Mall, it was right near J.C. Penney. The guy tried to rob K Jewelers and run through J.C. Penney. He did not make it very far, and we walked up.
He
and
got shot. The robber got shot?
The robber got shot and was laying on the ground bleeding in front of us. And he was still conscious, I think, if I remember right. But we thought he was going to make it. And then we get home and he was gone already.
That's free. It's a weird feeling, right?
It is a weird
To
feeling.
see it happen. And yeah.
But you should look up that clip, people at home. That's
Spider-Man what?
Spider-Man falls at Disneyland.
I thought it was a real person, and I thought
It looks like-
I was curious if he was going to survive it.
I set it up that way. I didn't want to tell
Yeah.
you it was because it is shocking to see.
It is.
I knew it was animatronic, so it didn't shock me as much. But it still was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, the people that were there, they must have just thought they witnessed a guy die right there.
Right, because he hits hard.
It's hard. He knocks down part of the building. It's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
And they had that ride up by like a few hours later. They had fixed the thing, and
That's-
there was just something that went wrong with the rope, I guess, that he swings
Doesn't make
down.
you feel real good about that stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he could have broken off at some other point and flew into
Oh
the
yeah.
crowd or something.
That's
Yeah.
my worst fear is something messing up at a
At an amusement park.
amusement park and
Yeah.
dying. But hey, I still ride the rides. One last thing I had on my list.
Okay.
Shaq. I was hearing an interview today with Shaq when he went to Miami. They got him an apartment, but he went in his apartment. They didn't have anything in there, so it was
Yeah.
an empty apartment. Did you see the same thing?
I don't know. I've heard it. Not today. I heard years ago about him spending money.
He went to Walmart and he spent $70,000 in one trip to Walmart, enough that his card got declined.
Right.
And his bank called him and like, "Hey man, someone's trying to spend $70,000." He's like, "That's me." $70,000. I don't even know how. I
do
don't
you
know
do
that I
that?
could do that. He's like, "Well, I needed a laptop. I needed a phone. I
A
needed
laptop,
couch,
a phone.
like
you. How do you? 70
TVs." He said
grand?
TVs and $70,000. I don't know. It would be hard to do that.
I love that he went to Walmart.
I love that he did too. And how did he get all that crap home?
Oh, yeah.
Did they have to
The
deliver
moving
it?
truck
But
or something? I don't know.
that's crazy.
But I love that you're signed with Miami,
Yeah.
right? You are the most dominant big man in the league.
Yeah.
You're making millions upon millions of dollars, and he's like, "Yeah, I got to furnish my apartment with Walmart."
Walmart. I think, yeah.
That's why he sells his shoes at Walmart.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right. I heard that story. Yeah.
Reebok was, I guess somebody wrote him a letter, your shoes are too expensive for us to buy. And so he changed his brand from Reebok to the Shaq shoe, lost a bunch of money, and started selling them at Walmart.
He is a man of the people. I enjoy him more and more. Like, I didn't like him that much when he was playing, but I enjoy him more and more. But yeah, it's getting pretty darn muggy in here.
It's real hot.
Real hot in this office, so...
Hot up in her.
About time we should wrap it up, you think?
I think we should.
We'll head home to the AC.
Yes.
In the meantime, keep it...
on the gooch, baby.
Peace! Something is afoot.
Yes.
And I'm abreast of the situation.